All right, Yag, we are finally here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why are we here? And what are we doing
I,
here?
yeah, absolutely. I'm so happy that this is happening today after following up for more than 2 months. But yeah, I'm super excited. We are here to start our podcast, the Modern SaaS Podcast. Super excited about the number of things that we have on our plate, which we have been discussing internally. It makes for a great opportunity to put it out to the world and see if they find it valuable. Aditya, let me ask you this. Why are we doing this outside of me running behind you? But why are we doing this? There are so many podcasts out there in the world,
Mhm.
and there is so much of noise. And why do we want to start yet another podcast?
Yeah, I think first of all, I'm also super excited. You mentioned you have been running behind me for 2 months. Trust me, I've been thinking about this for the last 2 years. So you can imagine the level of my excitement is probably 10x more than that. And the whole reason why do yet another podcast? And I think there are a lot of people have talked about it. Sharing your thoughts is important. You're building community,
Yeah,
you're connecting with the like-minded people, you're learning by talking to other people, inviting guests. So there are so many benefits of doing a podcast, and we have seen multiple examples where companies have built authentic brand, having their own voice, letting the world know, because at the end of the day, as we talked about B2B, B2C, so much of that is at the end of the day is people to people. So when people
yeah,
started realizing that who we are, what our philosophies are, what our values are, we will attract the like-minded customers, we will attract the right-minded employees. And that's all about that. I feel like we should share our thoughts. Then while we know that we should share, the whole question was that what we talk about. Like you mentioned something, you asked, there's so much noise, are we adding to the noise, or
yeah,
how are we going to think about it? And I've thought about it. The way I started realizing, based on my last experience of what I'm doing with internally, how we think about Avoma, how to build Avoma as a product. But then also, when I'm also a buyer and I'm trying to buy other companies' products, I started observing a lot of different patterns. The philosophies were not aligned the way I thought where the world is heading. And I started questioning a lot of the practices that world people are following. And I felt we are building a SaaS. I'm passionate about SaaS. I That's what something I deeply care about, and I think extremely passionate about that domain and industry and in general. But then there are so many facets to building a SaaS company, growing a SaaS company, and I just felt the world has not. SaaS is also not new. It's been there for what 10 plus 20
yeah,
years now probably, and I just felt things that we still do today are still what they were 10 years ago, and we haven't evolved as much. And I felt we need to question some of the practices that people are doing today. We need to look at our own self, retrospect, how are we doing, learn from the best as well out there, and share that knowledge so that everyone starts learning that how to build a modern SaaS company and how to grow it more efficiently. And I felt, why don't
yeah.
we actually talk about that? And that basically was the whole genesis of this. Hey, why don't we start a podcast talking about modern SaaS? And here we are,
Yeah.
Yag, super excited to again dive into different topics. We have so many of these topics that we internally discuss, but now we'll try to bring those back with the rest of the community here.
Yeah. The thing that makes me most happy about is there have been so many internal conversations that I felt were worthy of being recorded and putting out in the world. And that's one of the reasons why I felt this is really, really awesome. One, it's not only about the internal conversations, it can be conversations with customers, it can be with some industry thought leaders.
Yeah.
There can be so many of these things that can come into this episode. But, to start with today's topic, one of the things that you mentioned, I thought, that's a great segue to get into today's episode. This is about something that Aditya and I have been often discussing a lot internally. There's been a lot of riffing, thinking about, discussing, debating. And this has somewhere influenced us into how we buy our softwares internally.
Yeah.
So, the topic that we want to discuss today is, should we go for, say, the best in breed solutions? Or should we be going for an all in one platform that looks after entirely? So, I have my opinions, but Aditya, floor is yours. You started first.
Well, I might come across biased here as well, but the way I think about it is there will be always best of the breed solution. So if you normally you would ask somebody what you would buy, people would say, "Oh, we will buy best of the breed because we want the best tool to get the job done." And
Yeah,
one of the observations I'm having is that, and my prediction, you if you might want to say, the prediction for 2022 would be, I would see more and more companies will buy all-in-one software. And here is why I believe that would happen. One of the things is that you can see so much SaaS fatigue is happening. Too many tools to get job done for each individual things. And then multiple tools, basically the problem becomes now the collaboration between these tools. Different people not having access to different tools is becoming a nightmare issue for me in general. When I look at, let's say, customer facing teams, you would have a marketing automation tool differently, you would have CRM
yeah.
differently, there was another best live chat provider separately. But what ends up happening here is that all your three different teams have their own best of the breed tools, but they don't have a unified understanding of your customer's life cycle. So our salespeople talking to customer and they realize that, oh, they're also talking to a support chat and they have no idea what it was. But if I want to give access to my salesperson to that live chat, I have to again buy another license. So the tools are getting expensive to give access to everyone to make sure data flows in and everyone has can see the conversations across the entire life cycle of customer. But then that's obviously it's getting expensive. Then you say, okay, you know what, we'll do the integrations. And there have been a lot of these integrations, but the whole data plumbing is never natively great experience that we have seen. There's always something missing, and that also gives bad experience to customers at the end of the day. So both hands, I felt all these tools we try to optimize for our individual workflows end up becoming inefficient, expensive, and even worse, they're making our customers' life a lot difficult.
But let me put it this way.
Yeah,
Sorry to interrupt you, Aditya. So one thing is that, over the last, say, 10, 12 years, what I've constantly seen is every team is also having their own preference as to what tool they really love.
yeah,
So just to give you an example, if you ask me what chat tool would I like to have, I would put my hands up and say Intercom any day,
yeah.
right? Same thing happens, like if you ask me what is a help desk that you would love, I would say Zendesk any day. So there are going to be these picks that I am going to have in everything,
Yeah,
and there are going to be specific reasons for that, because there are certain features that is very useful for what I do on a daily basis,
yeah.
and that might be missing in an all-in-one solution. And I know that we don't use a lot of features even in any solution that we have, but the best feature that we love, if it's not going to be there in the all-in-one solution, isn't that disappointing?
That is 100% true. So I'm not saying that there will not be best of the breed solutions. So there will be of the solutions, and I think it also depends on the stage of your company as well. Probably more mature company is they might end up going for the best of the breed, and they can have resources to invest, do extra plumbing to talk the data between multiple different tools. And so that way you
Yeah,
would get best of the breed functionality. And then you're also making sure the data flows through across different applications or systems that you're using. The problem that I also see, Yag, with what you had suggested, while we think that we will use the best of the breed and we have all the bells and whistles that we buy, that, hey, this is the most functional tool, look at what percent of functionality you end up using. Not probably 100%. And
yeah,
so any given tool, and there is some stat, I don't remember the stat, people have done this studies that I think probably is this less than 30% of the functionality gets used for any given product. And if that's the true thing, you're right. What if there is functionality in intercom that is really best, that people love? Now it's the job of the all-in-one tool. Let's say, I'll pick an example for that particular use case, HubSpot. HubSpot, in my opinion, has done phenomenal job in terms of having a CRM, marketing automation, sales engagement, and live chat related products all across in
yeah,
one tool. Are they best in each of what they do? Absolutely not. But they have also done a good job of identifying what are the best features of these products are must have in the all-in-one functionality. And so they prioritize those functionalities. So you're not going to probably miss every single functionality there, or at least the most important functionality. It's there in HubSpot's end-to-end platform. But look at the benefit. You're buying only one tool. People can get access to the tool end-to-end information. Our customers get seamless experience. And I feel, yes, I 100% agree. some compromises we have to make when we migrate from, let's say, Intercom to HubSpot. Totally agree with that. But as long as you believe that that company is also innovative, they are going to constantly catch up on the best of the breed functionality that you have. I think you can invest from the long term point of view. And that is where I always question, like, it becomes nightmare. You buy some best of the breed tools, then at later point you want to migrate to all-in-one tools. So sometimes I look at who are the all-in-one best of the tools there for all-in-one tool, and rather invest in them and continue to grow with them as they continue to grow with their product, their functionality as well.
Right, right. And because you come from a product background, let me ask you this. Is this something that people have to think? Like, say, if I'm a founder, like, say,
Mhm.
if I was one of the founders of Oma, I mean, I look at myself as one. But what
You
I'm
are.
trying to say is that if I so what I'm trying to say is that if I'm trying to build Avoma to that, or any tool to that,
Mhm.
so am I thinking about this holistic architecture from day one to be that extra one? Or are we even beginning to build with, say, a small solution? Let's say I'm building a chat tool today. Tomorrow I might build a CRM. Tomorrow, I might build another, say, customer success software, and then start connecting. Or how do I think about it? And is it viable to even think holistically from day one?
I think that's an excellent point, and glad that you brought that up, because that is exactly how we have done as well at Avoma. One of the things that we did was we said there are all these tools were there. If just to give people context what Avoma is, we haven't introduced ourselves or what Avoma is. But what Avoma is really, it's an end-to-end meeting lifecycle assistant where we capture all the conversations and we look at all the tasks that you do before the meeting, during the meeting, and after the meeting, without getting too much into promotional stuff. The whole idea was that we felt there have been tools that people have built in this space that were only specific to one particular function, let's say sales or coaching use case. Then there were all the other tools which were true horizontal for the transcription related use cases. And we felt
Yeah.
none of these tools really go beyond the day to day workflows that we truly have. And the way I look at it, I have this philosophy. I look at it as a triangle, and I try to divide it into three basically triangle slices. And when you think about building a product from a strategy point of view, you always want to make sure the bottom layer is an engineering related layer. The top layer above that is a product layer, and the topmost layer is the go to market layer. So now when you think about your engineering should be as horizontal as possible when you from the vision point of view, that you know that what's your vision is going to be the broader vision, and based on that you start designing from that point of view, but you're not over architecting it in the early days of startups. But you need to make sure that your team, your critical member in your team, know that this is where the future is going to go. But when you're building the product, you're not going to use all the functionality that engineering possibilities are there. Then you're restricting the product a little bit for few use cases, but have a little bit of flexibility that other people can also use it. And then from the go to market, which is even sharper, that's when I see that even though your product is to some extent horizontal, can go to other use cases, all in one, different people can use it. From a go to market point of view, you need to be even sharper. You need to focus on only specific target persona where the pain is the highest. And so you're right. The problem is that what happens if you have this specific best of breed tools, even the branding of the company, you might start with something very sales specific, and then you might have your sales name in your brand name itself. And then it gets very difficult to
Yeah.
expand to other use cases later on when the company starts growing and things started working out. And that was, we were very sure about Avoma's branding. We said it should be something that can grow into anything. That's why the word itself does not mean anything, as most of the people probably might know that it's an acronym for a very organized meeting assistant. But on its own, the word doesn't mean anything, but it's short and sweet. But you can now expand to any use cases that you want. So you're 100% right. And I do believe that having that perspective, that vision that we are going to build all in one versus are we going best of the breed will impact all the decisions starting from the branding, engineering, architecture, go to market strategy. It impacts everywhere.
Here's a product marketing riff angle that I'm going to bring in here. See, when you look at a typical product marketing angle and think about where does a product marketer get himself or herself involved into this journey,
Mhm.
and if you look at the entire launch process, it starts from even the very beginning as to how does the engineering phase look, and you're looking at, okay, what are the different problems that we are going to solve for.
Hmm.
And when you said the top part of the triangle, it becomes super focused. It is probably the third or fourth stage where you get there. But fortunately or unfortunately, this is my biggest gripe, that in most teams, when product marketers come into the equation, the product is already there,
Hmm.
the path is already defined, and then they go into, like, they said, okay, this is your audience, this is how you go about and promote. Now, bringing back the angle what you're talking about, let's say, today a product is focused to only sales as an audience.
Hmm.
Okay, tomorrow if we want to expand to customer success, or maybe say customer support or marketing or engineering or whatever,
Hmm.
so how does that top part explode from there if we are beginning with that focus?
Well, again, it's as I rightly said, every company has evolution phase as well. So the whole point is that you're right. If product marketing people come in, they will probably come later on. Till that stage, maybe founders are the ones who are doing the product marketing job. They are the ones who are defining what positioning, what's the messaging is going to be, and that's why with use case that you want to go after is what they should be defining very clearly. But as we rightly said, like then you identify what are the adjacent markets that we most interact with. That's the natural way where I would expand either product line, another adjacent product or use case that you can solve, or even just the adjacent market or domain where the same product can be used to other functions of other people. Like in
Yeah,
our use case, one of the things that you can say, the transcription and note taking behavior was valuable for salespeople. So we started with there. That was where the need was the highest, the pain was the highest. But then we immediately realized that they're not the only ones. There is a customer success people also on the front line. We didn't have to change a product whole lot, few things here and there. We didn't have to position ourselves as a sales coaching tool the way others people have done it. And that way, customer success people didn't feel that, oh, this is not for me. It's not a coaching tool because they realize that I can also use it. It's a meeting assistant. I'm doing customer facing meetings. I'm forgetting all the information and I need some way to capture that, go back and refer. So the same product we were able to scale to different segment as a secondary kind of segment itself. But now that has been going on also well. Now we are at a journey. We are saying, okay, what are the other use cases compared to initial note taking use cases that these set of people want to be done? Now we are expanding the product use cases. This is where the product marketing person, the job, initial job is done, but it's not done for the long time because you're constantly now expanding use cases, you're constantly expanding verticals. And so they will continue to bring that perspective even though they join the journey later on. So that's how I think it's a part of the phase, what phase they join, and you can still have that opportunity going as the company continues to grow and scale.
no, I absolutely love this because in a lot of companies that I've seen, the product marketing journey feels like it's over after the product has launched.
Yeah.
But not many people realize that it actually starts there. It could be your use case, it could be expanding to marketplaces, it could be n number of things that you could look at. Absolutely. But coming back to the core of discussion today, I want to ask you this. Overall, if you have to sum up the ultimate benefit of going towards an all-in-one solution, is it the unit economics or is it the expansion of use cases? What are you most inclining towards?
Number one thing I'm inclining towards is your customer experience. 100% I'm thinking it's think from your customer's point of view that how many tools that they need to buy to get their job done. If you only
Yeah,
focus on your tool, your technology, your solution, you're not looking at your customer's problem. You're not looking at customers' jobs to be done framework that you might have heard about, what job they are
yeah,
truly trying to do. Giving a transcription is not solving their problem. They need to take those transcription and extract some notes. Why do they extract
yeah,
notes? Oh, they need to go and enter it into the CRM. Why do they need to enter it into CRM? Because their manager wants to run reports. They need to go back and follow up accurately, all of those things. So the more you start understanding the journey of a customer, you will start realizing that instead of giving another tool for note taking, another tool for coaching and transcription, you're breaking that experience that customer is having and you're making their life a lot more complex. So if I really want to bring, if one reason that why you should build as a product builder an all-in-one solution is for your customer journey, customer experience. And when I'm thinking why you should buy all-in-one solution, that is for your employee experience. One of the things I'll talk about this topic here is, we talked about this a lot of the times, yeah, that today people say that, oh, product becomes commodity. Features can be copied over,
yeah,
which we see constantly.
yeah.
To some extent, even the go to market is getting copied because the playbooks are all overwritten. People are sharing their playbooks. So there is nothing rocket
Yeah.
science in some of these things if company wants to win. And because there is so much competition, I always wonder if product is commodity, if the go-to-market playbooks are commodity, then how do these companies win? How do startup win? Then I started thinking about it and I felt it's the speed of execution. You can, if you can make sure that you can execute faster than anyone else, same idea, same go to market playbook, but with whatever the resources that you have, if you can run faster, you can still win and get more traction in the market and adopt more customers. Then I started thinking, how do you get the speed? One of the things is that the efficiency. You look at how your company is operating, how information gets passed, how decisions are being made. And then you realize that people are constantly, yes, there are people issue, process issue, but there is also the tool issue. The moment I started seeing that
Yeah.
people don't have access to information, they're not able to make the decision. So then I started thinking, how can we make sure that people have access to information easily? And that's when I started thinking, instead of buying these four tools, trying to do data plumbing, trying to run extra reports on top of it, extra manual work on top of it, why don't we buy tools that have these all these experiences is one tool? I'll actually share a couple of
Yeah.
examples where I've recently come across where I felt these companies are evolving into all-in-one tool and they're winning the market. And by the way, one of the other things is that there will always be market for all-in-one. So you can see that a lot of companies, best of the breed, will become really successful. But there will also be this whole
Yeah.
new category will become where all-in-one products will become also equally successful. And there will be enough
Yeah.
companies who would prefer to buy that all-in-one tool compared to buying the best of the breed.
Yeah.
To give an example, recently I came across three, four different things where I felt the whole all-in-one strategy from the day one has started really working out. One example came to my mind was Rippling. So Rippling
Hmm.
is this whole HR all-in-one tool where they do payroll management, benefits management, even what the tools that you're buying and all of that stuff. There have been really popular tools, Gusto and all of these things, who are doing only payroll. And I have been a Gusto
Yeah.
customer for many years. The product did not evolve a whole lot. It was a payroll product. They were doing all fine. And Gusto was very popular by that time. Rippling came in very late in the market, and but the vision was right. They said we are not going to only do payroll and compete directly with Gusto with the payroll functionality. We are going to overinvest in our vision and going to do a lot more stuff early on, but give that horizontal perspective or that all-in-one narrative from day one. And look at
Yeah.
how Rippling started executing really at a rapid pace. They started adding features very fast across all different these use cases. And that is actually true. The way Rippling solved the problem is exactly what I would want to buy. Guess the
Yeah.
effect of what happened because of that. Gusto started
Yeah. Yeah.
innovating faster. Gusto product had not evolved for so many years, and suddenly they started pacing up their functionality. Because of this all-in-one competition, they started realizing customers prefer all-in-one. They are going to Rippling for a
Yeah.
reason. Suddenly, Gusto
Yeah.
started launching functionalities, launching new features at a rapid pace. I'll give you a second example, which also we went internally as a change, was ClickUp, the whole project management tool.
Yeah.
Massive industry,
I was going to bring up as well.
right? I mean, if you think about one of
Yeah.
the most crowded SaaS categories is a project management tool.
Yeah.
So many
Yeah.
$10 billion companies are out there. And we were at Avoma, we were using Jira for engineering task management and sprint management. And we were using Asana for all our go to market task management. But guess what happened?
Yeah.
Now, our go to market team didn't know the things about the engineering roadmap and all of that. Engineering team didn't know if customer issues were happening, anything that we were happening here. They didn't have access to that. And so that collaboration was not really going on well. ClickUp came in out of nowhere, bootstrap company. So the reason I'm explaining these stories is that a lot of people will question, but Aditya, how can with all-in-one vision that you can build so much because all these companies have so much functionality, they're already so ahead. Look at the what ClickUp did. Because the vision was right, they took the right decisions. They already had engineering architecture supported them to go and expand into these use cases. And that company became so popular in such a short period that they're pretty much giving hardship to all these Asanas of the world, Mondays of the world, and all of that. So what we did,
Yeah.
we migrated to all ClickUp now. We are a happy ClickUp customer, and all our team engineering, product, go to market, sales, customer success, everyone is on ClickUp. So that's why I
Yeah.
feel like this whole, we did this for HubSpot also. We migrated all of our marketing, CRM, and even engagement products, sales engagement products to HubSpot. I saw this pattern literally three times in Avoma's small journey that we have here. And I felt this is a trend. This is going to happen. More and more people are going to prefer the all in one tools. And there are founders who are going to build all in one tools as well. So I hope that gives you context because these perspectives, those opinions are coming based on the real world experiences that we have seen as well.
One thing that I love about either be it our internal conversations or today conversing on a public platform is that when I start conversing with you, a lot of things feels like, hey, Aditya is like my way or the highway. But once I hear the logic behind it, it makes a lot of sense. But yeah, with respect to ClickUp and HubSpot inside Avoma, I've seen it live and I 100% agree, because when we are a small team, if we are having so many, imagine the kind of problems it will create when we become a much bigger company in the coming years, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, absolutely with you on that.
I'll add one point, Jack. What happens because of that, as if you continue to invest in the best of the breed tools, I'm not saying they'll fail at the job that they're trying to provide you. But what happens is you end up now hiring more people to manage those instances to do the data plumbing. So now the whole operations becomes
Yeah.
an additional overhead. Now you need to hire agencies to solve the internal problem. So the expense you might think, and the best of the breed also sometimes end up becoming expensive on its own because you're buying best solution, then you're paying more. You have to buy more licenses across different people to give access to different team members, and then to manage those and in data operability. So in large, I felt expense is also another factor criteria that would matter. And who wants
Yeah.
to spend more? People want to run companies efficiently from a cash flow point of view as well. So when you look at the
Yeah.
spend and the SaaS fatigue I was talking about, this is another area that you will see. I'll give you an example also. I had a customer, he was negotiating price with me, and the way he negotiated, he basically took the list of 15 different tools that he was paying today, and he said, Aditya, I'm paying for these
I
15
remember that.
tools today for my go to market stack. Help me, please, help me save money. And I felt that pain, honestly. And I wanted to do something, but that's exactly the point, that you need to have tools which are going to be consolidated. And that's why that all in one mindset is really, really important, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I love that. We have covered so much in probably, 20, 22 minutes of time. This is amazing. I think we should do more of this. And this should be a start of so many episodes to come. So this is fantastic, Aditya. What do you think?
No, absolutely. And look, the whole idea that what we also talked about internally was that we'll keep it raw. We'll have our thoughts directly come from the heart. This is not going to be a very highly scripted show. We'll share thoughts. It might be opinions, and you might disagree, you might agree. We want to learn from you as well. These are our opinions. Maybe we are doing something wrong. And so help us understand what are your viewpoints as well. We will invite some guests to learn from them, their best practices, and we
Yeah.
will try to ask hard questions. There are one of the things I also hate is people don't talk a lot about the practices that are still being followed because everyone follows it, so we got to follow it as well. Not many people are questioning a lot of things from the first point of view, first principles point of view. So we'll ask
Yeah.
those hard questions to ourselves, we'll ask those hard questions to our guests, and we'll try to make sure that you're getting something actionable, you're also getting something thought provoking to say that, hey, where the world is going, how can we make sure that this experience. And one of the other things that I'm realizing, that why we are also doing Yag, this is our job as a community to get better and help our customers and buyers to have that better
Yeah.
experience. And it's almost like it feels like it's our responsibility that we educate each other and uplift the entire SaaS community, SaaS experience, that what we are everyone is talking about, the consumerization of the enterprise. I still don't see it's happening yet. And hopefully this moment, that what we're doing, the knowledge that we will be sharing here, will help the rest of the SaaS community to start building the products that were our buyers want to buy. That buyer experience is extremely important, customer experience is extremely important. And so we'll start sharing those topics.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can already see why people comment and like your posts a lot, because it always comes from the heart. And, I will also come up with opinions, from the marketing side,
Yes.
sales side, and whatever I have. And yeah, let's keep bringing up good topics, good guests, and bringing good content. So one request from me and Aditya probably is that, subscribe to our podcast, give us a lot of love, give us 5 stars, and also let us know what kind of topics would you like us to go deeper on, and we'll do our best there. What's say, Aditya?
No, 100%. So first of all, one of the things what we are also deciding is that we will do this on YouTube as well. So you'll have videos. So do subscribe to that channel, hit that like button. It helps YouTube to learn that our show is going to be something more people want to learn, and it helps us as well to know that okay, more people are interested in these topics. And be honest, if our format is not right, you want us to do it different way, do share comments, definitely. And as right Yak said, why not 6 star, why just 5 stars? So give us good rating on our podcast. We will continue to learn more about your feedback through that, and we'll continue to improve based on that as well.
So yeah, all right, so that's that from us in this episode. This was fun, and we'll continue to do this more. And until we connect with you the next time, this is bye from me, Yag.
And bye from Aditya as well. Thank you.